Okay, how come it's not going forward with that? Did that go yet or not? Let's see.
It says live for me.
It's live now?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, so let's see, participants coming in. I still don't have any attendees over here.
You said when he calls, it says the meeting hasn't started.
Who is that you're talking to?
Mike,
Mike?
trying to get in.
Okay, because Julia and Dan are trying to get in too.
All right, here we go. Here we go. All right. It was in, now it's live streaming. It wasn't live streaming prior to that.
Okay.
All right, so. Okay, so we should have 3 in line. Want me to allow them all to talk right now? Oh, no, they're all coming.
Oh, good.
Okay, I'll get them all in. Okay, so they are all in. All right, so you want me to start with the reading of the process that we got to go through?
Yes, please.
Okay, this meeting, the Historic District Commission will take place in a webinar format through Zoom. The chair of the commission is Sarah Moriarty. The host of the webinar is the building officials. Staff attending this meeting include Peter Zavinglis, Seamus Quinn, and Linda Galetta. Anyone speaking should state their names prior to speaking each time. The panelists in this webinar meeting will be the commission members and the building staff. Panelists who would like to comment on an item should indicate such by using the icon to raise hand at the bottom of the screen. After a panelist raises their hand, they will be able to comment one at a time when called upon by the chairperson. Panelists should mute their microphones until called upon. To make a motion or second a motion, commission members can raise a hand and be acknowledged by the host or chair. To vote on a motion, commission members will be called upon individually by the chair to vote. The public can participate in the meeting during the public communications agenda item. The public will be asked to raise their hand during public communications if they want to speak at this time by using the icon to raise hand at the bottom of the screen. The public will be called upon by the host one at a time and will be able to speak during this time. Attendees must identify themselves before speaking. Attendees can also submit any comments in writing to the building department after a meeting for consideration on any item discussed tonight. That should be that.
All right, so I will call the meeting to order May 5th at 7:10, and I will first take a roll call. So Sarah Moriarty here, Heather?
Here.
Todd?
Here.
Don?
Here.
Eric?
Here.
Mark? Mark Summers is not here. Linda?
Here.
Peter?
Here.
Seamus?
Here.
All right. So, Todd, do you want to read the call?
Sure.
Thank you.
Dear Michelle, please publish the following public notice for one insertion on Monday, April 27, 2020. Town of Groton, notice of public hearing, Historic District Commission. The Historic District Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, May 5, 2020 at 7 p.m. at the Groton Town Hall Annex, 134 Groton Point Road, to hear the following applications requesting a certificate of appropriateness. HDC 20-21, 15 Pearl Street, St. Mark's Parish of the Protestant Episcopal. Owners, Armstrong Chimney owners. Armstrong Chimney and Stoves LLC applicant. Rebuild chimney, pin number 2619183184660E. HCC 20-22, 5 Water Street, SIF Real Estate LLC owner applicant. Signage and banner, pin number 2619183088613. HDC 20-23, 13 Water Street, Mystic Ledge Real Estate LLC owner, Julia Leeming applicant, modify COA 2233, pin number 2619183062335, Todd Brady, secretary.
All right, thank you, Todd. So I will call HGC 20-15, 54 West Main Street, Bat 26 Realty, Chris Duvard. Are you in our audience?
I'm on the call, yes.
Hi, Chris.
Good evening.
So I think where we are with this is I spoke with Lori, as did Todd, and I also spoke with Walt, the owner of the building. Lori is going to be putting in an application. So I think that the best course of action for us is to, when we go into public deliberations, is to do that 65-day continuation, so that hopefully we'll be able to work this application out.
Okay, that sounds good.
Does anyone have any other comments or suggestions? This is that signage that we've been having a little trouble with.
Right. So do we need a motion to extend? How does that?
I think we just need, when we go into public deliberations, is to continue it.
Continue? Okay.
Anybody else? No? All right.
Chris may need to give us something in writing requesting
Just the extension.
the extension.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how this new extension works, so I guess Linda brings up a good point, just to kind of do a belt and suspenders approach. Chris, if you could just shoot Linda an email asking us to enact that 65-day extension.
I will do that.
Thank you.
Very good.
All right. Would anybody in the audience like to comment on this application?
Nope.
HDC 20-15 is closed. So I will call HDC 20-21, 15 Pearl Street, St. Mark's Parish of the Protestant Episcopal. Armstrong Chimney is the applicant. Are you out there?
Hello.
Is someone from Armstrong here? All right, so I'll just call this one again last and see if someone shows up. HDC 20-22, 5 Water Street, SIFT Real Estate. Is anyone from SIFT here?
Here,
Can you state your name?
Marissa Lebrecht.
Hi, Marissa, you have the floor to talk about your application.
Okay. So basically we are opening up mix on the patio outside. So we just wanted to tell you guys about, and get approval for the signs that we'll be putting up. It will be a 24-by-24 sign. If you scroll down a little bit, there is right here, you can see where the sign will be going. It's hanging off of a pergola on the top of the stairs to the patio. And then if you scroll a little further down, that is what the sign, that's the location and what it will look like. And then I believe there's a color copy of the sign right there. Yep. So that's what it will look like. Those are the dimensions. It will be at the top of the stairs. And then we also have a banner that we would like to put up on the patio as well. Yep. So right there, it says the rear banner at the very top, circled. Yep. And it will just be the letters MIX, not the rooftop and bar or the SIFT Bake Shop below it. So it will look more like what's not circled to the right of that.
What is Mix, a restaurant?
So yes, it's a rooftop bar, rooftop and bar. It'll be more tapas or small plates and a cocktail bar. Yep.
Peter, can you scroll back up a little bit? Right there, stop. Marissa, the 24 front sign, that's what you showed us earlier on the bracket, right? That's not, the banner's not.
Yep. So this will be the front sign, and then the one that's circled above that will be the rear sign or the rear banner.
So what, I'm sorry, is the rear banner rectangle?
It'll be rectangular, yes. I just don't have a proof of what it will look like. But it's 60 inches in width.
And what is the background color for it?
So it will be the letters, just the individual letters. So the background color will be the wall of the building.
Which is white,
I believe it's a light blue.
light blue.
Well, when you say a banner, is it going to be like, how's it attached to the building?
It will, I'm sorry?
How's it attached to the building? Is it just hanging?
I don't have the exact information on that, but I can get back and circle back with Adam.
Can you go back up one more slide? Yeah, that looks a lot small. Go up one more. Yeah. Okay. That one there, that seems a lot bigger than 24 by 24. Is that not to scale or something?
That
Says not to scale.
is not scale.
Oh, okay. If I could read, I see it right here. Okay, very good. I see that.
So Peter, can you scroll down a little bit? One more, this one. So go up a little. Up one more. So the banner is going to be a rectangle on that back wall. And it's just going to be the letters, and then you'll just see the background of the building that's blue.
Yep.
And then I think maybe it was a discussion I was having with Linda. This banner is only seasonal.
Yes. So we recognize that it can only be up for 90 days of the year. And I've spoke to Linda about it, as well as Bruce, and they have both explained to me that it can only be up for 90 days. And Adam and I have also agreed that whatever information you guys need about that going up, or whatever applications need to go in for that, will be done yearly as we need to do them.
But we don't actually know what that banner looks like.
So I don't have, unfortunately, a proof of it right now. I can definitely get you guys a proof for it, but it will just be, if you scroll down just a little bit, one more. So if you look right here, not the circled rear banner at the top, but next to it, where it doesn't have the rooftop and bar. Yep, right there. That is basically what we hope for it to look like.
Right, but I guess the point I'm making is that you have that it's 60 inches wide. We don't know how tall it is. And when you say that the banner has to have some kind of color. If for it to be a banner, it has to have a substance in and of itself that then is up against the wall, right? So we don't know what the color of the background of the banner is, and I don't think we know what the letters sort of look like. I mean, if it's only 3 letters and it's a 5 foot long banner, then I mean, what's the height?
The height, I believe it's about 30 inches.
I'm trying to pull up the regulations.
Okay.
I mean, if it's temporary, do we have jurisdiction over it?
Well, that gets back to my point from earlier.
With regard to the pergola, you mean?
Yeah.
But this is different because it's going to be attached to the building. It's got to be hung somehow. It's got to be affixed.
Except it's probably, I mean, I would guess based on the company it's coming from, it's probably just eye hooks with, some sort of screw in type thing. It's a guess, but.
If it's under 90 days, we generally do not.
Because then we have to approve like the banner, every banner that goes across the downtown or whatever, West Mystic.
Did you find something on 90 days, Heather? I was looking.
I just know that from other times where we've talked about seasonal banners and signage, we haven't required we're not stringent. If it is a requirement, we don't make other people do it.
That makes sense, June, July, August.
I mean, just think about it. Then whenever they do like the road race signs or any of those, they'd have to come.
Okay, I mean, I don't have an issue if that's the case.
I'm just trying to see if I can find
I think it's more of,
just a process that we've developed over time.
yes, well, that and also regulating it's actually 90 days and not having banners up that are supposed to be under 90 days and then they're there for half a year. So,
Right. Okay.
Just make it with a stipulation where they can't keep it up for more than 90 days.
Right. I think that's probably the way to go, is just to say that we don't have jurisdiction over it so long as it's under 90 days.
And then maybe each year,
Just kind of keep an eye on it, monitor.
or just say, just let it, give us a heads up when you're putting it up.
Okay.
All right. Well, that will save me looking up the
So
guys.
that's the banner though,
Right, not the sign.
Marissa.
Yep.
So the other, if you go up, that one has the PVC vinyl, 24 by 24. That's the hook it's gonna be on.
Yes.
I'm a stickler for the hooks, so.
Yes, that is, to my knowledge, exactly what it will be on.
All right. So does anyone have any other questions for the applicant? No. Marissa, just, I'm sure that Linda knows, but just for the record, can you state your last name?
Yep, it's Lebrec.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. No more questions for the applicant, correct? All right, would anyone in the audience like to speak for this application? Would anyone in the audience like to speak against this application? HDC 20-22 is closed. So now I will call HDC 20-23, 13 Water Street, Mystic Ledge Real Estate.
Can I just ask a quick question? Is
Oh,
the reason why we can't see the applicants because they're just calling in?
I don't know.
Yeah, for some reason, call-ins don't,
Show up.
Well, that would make sense.
Okay.
well, it does make sense, but I don't even think they have the option if they wanted to. Unless the first day, I remember you had to be a panelist.
Yeah, no, it says,
Oh, all over to panelists.
yeah, it doesn't give them an option for video.
Oh, I thought we had one or two people on video.
I think Peter made them all panelists that one meeting.
Yeah, if I switch them to panelists, then they can come on.
You don't want to do that?
It's up to you guys. I could if you want.
Well, I'd like to see the whites of their eyes.
All I see is this right here. I'm showing up. On my screen, I got nobody. I just got the applications.
Aw,
Yeah, you're messing up the whole thing, Peter. Well, I have everybody on the right-hand side of my screen.
I have only you guys. I got like 3 of you because I got taken up the whole screen with the rest.
Well, I mean, how does everyone feel about that? I mean, would you just assume the panelists not be visible?
I'm happy to see the panelists.
you take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. And that's.
I have a vivid imagination.
I think I'd rather see him, but I don't feel that strongly about it, but put a face with a name.
Well, that's what I'm saying, you know.
Yeah, why don't you turn it on?
Disable to promote the panelists. Here we go. All right, more.
Well, this is experimental. If they get on,
Exactly.
we're going right back.
Yep, we'll be in trouble if it doesn't work. So,
Oh my.
Never had anyone fight this hard to see me before.
Oh, yeah, there's Dan, see?
Todd misses you.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
How are you?
I don't feel like I'm putting up the Brady Bunch here. One at a
Right?
time.
Where's Julia? Where's Julia? She's not
He's
on?
here.
I'm here. There she is.
Right there.
Mike Hardesty's here too. Wow, it's a party.
Son of Mayo.
Oh, there she is. Okay.
I'm going back to my share screen. You guys have fun with that. There we go.
Okay.
All right. So I had just called HDC 20-23 13 Water Street, Mystic Ledge Real Estate.
Okay, great. Peter, do you want to drive the screen or do you want for me to share my screen?
I'm controlling. I can go with this. I control it from what
Okay.
you gave on that.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
you just kind of tell me where you want to go.
The elevation is perfect, the building elevation.
Okay.
So the reason we're coming back to you is that if you've driven past Oyster Club, you know work has started. The original plan, which we may have shared to you when we came, I don't know if that was even the plan at that point, but we broke the project into 2 phases. So this winter, we did extensive ledge removal behind the restaurant, and the intention was that next winter we would do the building renovation. Then COVID-19 showed up, and Dan quickly recalibrated, reshuffled, and we have started the renovation as of, I think, 2 weeks ago. And now if you drive by, the second story of the building, and in fact, everything but the first floor of the existing building has been demolished, and we're starting construction. In the process of demolition, the contractor discovered that the framing and the windows on the first floor on either side of the front door were in terrible shape. And so we're asking for permission to replace those existing windows with Marvin Elevate windows, which are the same windows that we're installing on the second floor, right above them. And they'll be the exact same size as the existing windows. We've had Marvin's rep come out and measure, and they will be the same size as existing windows. They'll have white on the exterior the way the existing windows did, and they will be simulated divided light, meaning the mullions are on either side of the pane of glass, not inside the middle, which is called grilled between glass and looks much less historic. The exterior of the frame is fiberglass, so that's the only sort of substantive change, is that they're currently wood interior and exterior windows, the original windows, and we will be switching to wood interior, fiberglass exterior. But again, it will be white, and the profile will match what is there. We are salvaging the front door and reinstalling that. So that is our intention. And then these are the few pages of the specifications for the windows, just describing the sandwich. There's essentially a fiberglass shell on the exterior of a wooden frame. Some of the benefits of the fiberglass are that it expands and contracts almost the same as glass, so there shouldn't be cracking. The finish should last for a long time. And they're obviously, superior in terms of heating and cooling than the original windows would have been.
Thank you. Does anyone have any other questions for the applicant?
Are you saving that transom window too, or is that going to be?
We're trying to, right? That's the one right above the door. We are trying to. One thing I was going to mention is, I know it wasn't in the application, so we may have to do it in a subsequent application, but if it is hard to match a window with glazing that small, we may need to try to reuse the existing one. But the hope is that we can keep the existing transom window.
You can do it in Marvin's Ultimate line. You just can't do it in the Integrity.
Right. I know that's, I've been going back and forth with the rep, and the Ultimate is aluminum on the exterior rather than the fiberglass. So the question is, do we want to have the slight difference between the aluminum and the fiberglass, or do we want to reuse the existing window? And that's something we haven't totally resolved, so I didn't want to bring it up. But if you're open to allowing us to replace it with the Ultimate window, that would be fantastic to have that in our,
Just an FYI, we just did a project in Old Lyme where there was a use of the Integrity or Elevate and next to the Ultimate, and you couldn't tell.
Oh, good. Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know, because we were slightly concerned that the profiles might
look a little different that close together.
The mullion size is slightly off, but unless
Okay.
you're very well knowledgeable in this area, you're not gonna.
Yeah. And also the panes of glass are such different sizes anyway, you might not catch that with your eye. So that is really it. I had one photo, I think I included a photograph of the front elevation of the building so that you could see, it's not there. Okay, but I had a photo of the front of the building so you could see what the existing windows looked like. But the elevate, because they're direct glazed, meaning there isn't an additional sort of frame, or there's the frame of the window, and then there's sometimes a sash which can make the thickness of the frame chunkier than the existing windows. But these will be direct glazed, so it really will look very similar to the windows that are there.
Thank you, Julia. Does anyone have any other comments or questions for the applicant?
No, it looks fine to me.
I have one tiny thing to add just for full transparency with you. We have gone to the Planning and Zoning Commission and we'll be coming to you probably in 2 weeks. We're hoping to add a little bit of space behind the existing dining room, which is not visible from Water Street, and depending on, as you're going up to the treehouse, you probably can see it, but we're working out the path of the hood. Eric, I know that was something that you were really concerned about when we first came to you. So we're very close to getting the path of the hood worked out. The good news is it'll probably be inside the building, not on the exterior of the building. So you'll only see it when it penetrates the roof. But we wanted to resolve that and then come before you one last time and just say, hey, these are the few tweaks to what we showed you in October, and hopefully get approval from them all at once instead of coming several times.
That would be great.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Would anyone in the audience like to speak for this application? Would anyone in the audience like to speak against this application? HDC 20-23 is closed. So I will recall HDC 20-21 15 Pearl Street. Is anyone in the audience here for that application? Linda, do you think they knew about this new process?
I had explained it to them and I sent them out the letter that we've been sending, explaining due to COVID. Yeah, so they knew.
Okay.
I don't know if they're having difficulty getting online or.
Okay.
I could give them a call if you want me to.
Sure.
I think I have a number.
I wonder if they thought, because it is a little bit of a confusing process, or it's a new process, it's not confusing, if they thought they had to come at all.
Isn't it like for like anyways?
Good point.
Yes, that's kind of the direction I was going in, is perhaps we don't even need them. But I wasn't quite sure what kind of precedent that would set. I mean, their application's pretty thorough and it's really not changing all that much. They're taking off those cylinders at the top.
They said they're rebuilding it exactly as it is, so I mean.
Right, the only thing that I think that they're changing is, Peter, if you scroll down,
Something at the
those cinder blocks on the top are going. They were filled with mortar.
So they probably shouldn't even have been there in the first place, so.
Right. I don't know, what's anybody else's opinion here?
I would move to approve it.
I mean, they're not adding anything, they're just taking away something, right?
Well, they're rebuilding the whole rooftop.
Yeah.
They're rebuilding it exactly the same and getting rid of something that shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Right. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
So there must have been a cap on that chimney at some point.
Right.
But then when they put that metal flue in, they had to take it off.
If we don't need them, then why don't we just vote on their application?
I don't I mean, I don't see why not. We're just in uncharted territory. The only time that we've come close to doing this before is with when Mercer was missing a little bit of his application and he just submitted the maps and didn't come to the next hearing. But I don't think we need someone to present an application.
Well, but are we saying it's
simple.
basically, are we saying it's basically like for like and therefore they don't need to apply at all? Or-
Well, I don't think we're saying that because they're removing the cinder blocks.
Yeah, it's not like for like. We'd have to vote on it.
I may be misremembering, but didn't one of the executive orders talk about not having to appear at public hearings? Or maybe that was just for land use commissions that were public hearings. I don't recall, but
I think they were speaking to physically not appearing, not as in like,
okay,
not having to show up at all.
gotcha.
I think the question is more about precedent. So if we have another application where someone doesn't show up and we have questions about it, I'm assuming we would just continue it. In this one, no one really has any questions for the applicant. And since we're not denying it, or I wouldn't deny it, I can't speak for anybody else, that we would be okay voting on it.
For me, from my perspective, and I want to say this in a very polite and respectful way, but at some point, we're going to get somebody who's not savvy technologically, and they may need a lot of hand-holding on our end to get things uploaded, and then they may not really have the ability to come before you, and that may happen more often than not. I know it seems silly, but
No, and I think that's reasonable if we just had that knowledge in advance. Like if he said, I'm not coming,
right,
if you have questions on my application, please continue it.
like Mercer did, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Call
Okay.
him in on speakerphone.
Come again?
So we can call him in on speakerphone. He says, we got any
Right.
questions? Give him a call on the cell phone and see if he answers.
I mean, are there questions? This is like a straightforward application that I don't even think he would need to speak, would he?
I have no questions, but maybe just to, again, to do the belt and suspender approach, we should try to give him a ring on his cell phone. Does anybody have any concerns with this application?
I
No.
don't.
Mm.
I mean, he pretty much describes he's gonna rebuild the chimney as it is. He said he's gonna keep the metal flue on top, but offered to paint it black, but that's really up to him. That's a color thing. So
Right.
I really don't think there are many issues. I would say in response to what Linda said is that even if someone's not technologically talented or skilled or whatever, anyone can phone in, right, Peter?
Correct.
You can
Yeah.
just call in on the phone, and that's enough of a presence if it becomes an issue, I think, as long as the exhibits are complete.
What's that flashing though on the new proposed one, the white flashing?
Well,
Anybody?
that's
Yeah.
Just new flashing.
It just, it looks kind of weird, that's all.
Well, that's just some step.
well, it's
Yeah.
not,
It's not this one. That's just.
it's
one.
not
That's not
this
this
chimney.
chimney.
Yeah.
Okay,
They haven't built it yet.
right.
And there's some step flashing on the existing chimney. If you look on the right-hand side there, it's just not that visible because it looks like they've blobbed on some mortar on top of the bricks also, so. Yeah, see, there's some step flashing right there.
There you go. There's your flashing.
See that?
Okay.
All right. So does anyone have any concerns that if we close this public hearing? I mean, when we get to deliberations, I guess we can talk about it if we want to continue it or vote on it. No?
No.
All right, then does anyone in the audience want to speak for this application? Does anyone in the audience want to speak against this application? HDC, where am I? 20-21 is closed. So now we will move to Consideration of public hearings, HGC 20-15, 54 West Main Street, BAP 26 Realty. This was the mortgage movement mortgage sign, where I believe we have decided we're going to continue this for the 65 days that the executive order has allowed, and that Chris is going to send a letter also requesting this continuation. Is that an accurate summary?
Are we continuing it now or are we waiting till we get the letter?
I would say we need to continue it now.
Or continue.
I think that we can continue it now. There's just a little bit of ambiguity as to whether the applicant has to request it. So we were just kind of crossing our T's and dotting our I's with that.
So the applicant can request it or you can impose it. And it
Right.
also can be done incrementally. It doesn't have to be for 65 days. It can be for a month, whatever you feel comfortable with. But so it could be done by you. I believe you can just do it as part of your deliberation or notes from tonight. I think if he does it, it has to be in writing.
So I would say we should do it, and we should go for the max given the track record of this application.
It's not 65 though, it's 90.
90. All right, I'm for 90.
Is it 65 and then 90?
So 65 is the statutory allowed extension, but I think that's only for PVC site plan and special permits that the applicant can take the election. Only the applicant can change. But under Executive Order 9I, the applicant or the board can make an election either or without each other to extend up to 90 days.
Gotcha.
But there's also ambiguity on that because the way 9I was written, it could be read to grant an automatic extension. So, but you can't take one and then the other. So but it doesn't matter. If you do the 90 days, you do the 90 days.
Right.
Okay, so can I make a motion to continue and give a 90-day extension?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I got to do the roll call.
Yeah.
Unless you got that all, everyone said yes, Linda.
That was Heather and then Eric seconded it?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. HDC 20-21, 15 Pearl Street, St. Mark's Parish. I got to go back. I apologize. I'm a little out of rhythm. So back on to HDC 20-15, we all said aye, no abstentions, no denials. So the motion's been approved. I apologize. HDC 20-21, 15 Pearl Street, St. Mark's Parish. This was the chimney. Just a continuation of the conversation from before. I think his application is complete. If I had any questions, I would recommend continuing it, but I don't have a problem approving it.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any comments on the project or the precedent? All in favor? I'll do a roll call. Moriarty, aye. Brady,
Aye.
Goodman,
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Giannakopoulos.
Aye.
The application is approved. HDC 20-22, 5 Water Street, Sift Real Estate. This was for the signage and the banner in the back. Comments, just, I'm in favor of this application so long as that we try to provide the stipulation that the banner is for no more than 90 days. Otherwise, that they would have to come for a certificate of appropriateness, to which they would need to provide us more information than what we have on file, and the sign in the front is fine with me.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
With the stipulation that the banner can only be up for 90 days.
Correct.
Any other comments? All in favor? Moriarty, yes. Brady,
Aye.
Goodman,
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Giannakopoulos.
Aye.
The application is approved with the stipulation. HDC 20-23, 13 Water Street. This is the application for the 2 new windows to match the already approved windows on the 2nd floor. Any comments or motions?
I move to approve.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor? Moriarty, aye. Brady,
Aye.
Goodman,
All right,
Levinson,
Aye.
Janikopoulos.
Aye.
The application is approved. All right, so that closes our public hearings and opens our pre-application hearings. Everyone was here for public hearing. Thank you. Ow.
Thank you, guys. Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
All right.
Thank
Night.
you. Stop throwing darts at me.
The chairwoman is being harassed.
Hold on. I should have done
I'm
this
sorry,
one more.
on the last one, Water Street, who was the, was it Goodman or Brady who motioned?
Brady,
The last one?
Yeah.
I made the
was
motion.
you.
I made the motion.
And Heather, you seconded, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sorry. Got it.
All right, so it looks like we have 2 or 3 people here for prelims. Yes?
Yep.
Who's the phone number? Do we
I
know?
see 3.
The
This
two
is-
that- 2460? Who is 860-208-2460? Nobody?
Frank Collar.
All right, well, maybe they just want to listen to our exciting meeting. All right,
Stephanie.
Wayne, you look like you're here for a pre-app. Do you want to go first?
Excuse me, did you say Wayne? Yeah. I'm here on regards to 14 Fort Rachel. We have a pending application, and from what I understand, there's some concerns, and I just wanted to address those.
Okay, is this, so you're with Michael Hardesty, the 2 of you are together?
That is correct.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. So this is the
And-
garage project that we had talked about at the last couple of meetings.
Your name,
This is
your name?
Wayne Falco, GC Building Company. So I was unaware that it was even talked about. I heard about it, so that's why I'm here to see what the concerns were.
I believe Seamus took a few pictures that I can.
Yeah, I sent a couple over to Pete.
Just bear with me so I can try and pull them up on here.
I'm sorry, I had to get up, so I missed what you said, Wayne. Were you going over the differences between what was approved and what was existing?
No, he hasn't gone over anything yet.
I haven't gone over anything, no. So there were some concerns that I heard about, and I was just here to address the concerns. I guess Windows was one of them.
well, let's just jump back for a second. So there was a complaint made that was raised to us with regards to the fact that what was approved was not what was built. So as you know, or may not know, or Sarah, I don't know if you want to jump in with regards to what the process of the HDC is.
So you're talking about our approval process where when
Just
you put in an application,
the rigid nature of the historic district, that what is submitted needs to be completed exactly as
it's submitted. So any modifications, just like you saw with the SIFT build, not the SIFT building, the Oyster Club building, just the change of windows, they have to come back. And, it appears that what is built isn't actually what was approved. And this causes other issues with the fact that it doesn't give your neighbors or your abutters or anybody in the historic district the ability to make any comments to what your application is, because you built something different.
Okay, so there's been a few windows added, I believe. So do I just need to send in a new set of plans for approval?
Well, that's one, what you have is not approved. So you either have to build what you were approved for, or you have to put in a new application and hope that that application gets approved. But it can possibly be denied because it wasn't what was approved.
Okay, so there was some concerns, there was some complaints. Can we go over those complaints? And so I know exactly.
I think the basic complaint is that you didn't build what you said you were going to build. I mean, if you come in and get approval from the Historic District Commission and you say you're going to build X and you build Y,
Well,
you have not complied with the approval.
okay, well, I didn't start the process. There was another builder involved who started the process, hired me to come out and do the carpentry work. Couldn't get things off the ground, and I took over at that point. So I did add some windows, I guess, and there's something to do with air conditioning condensers, which I don't understand, I guess, what we can do to conceal them where it would be satisfactory to you guys. I want to make sure I'm in compliance. I don't want to delay.
You're not in compliance. You're not in compliance. So I understand that you came into it, but there was something that was approved. So you need your hands on that and you need to either fix it.
Wait, did you frame it? Who framed the project?
I framed it, yes.
So why did you not frame it to the plans that were submitted?
I went over it with the other contractor. I didn't have a set of plans, and it was a simple square box. And I wasn't, to add a window, I didn't feel was a structural thing. So apparently that's not what this is about. But
if you look at the photos relative to the plans, it appears that the sizing and location of the windows, the doors on the right side, and the overall elevation of the roof and the roof pitch are all different, in addition to the trim detail, which is less relevant. So it appears that what they applied to build, or what Mike applied to build through his previous builder, was just not built at all.
It looks pretty much the same to me, except for a few added windows.
It's absolutely not the same. And you have to understand, we're saying it has to be exact. People come in here with exact measurements, exact material usage. And if you change anything, you need to reapply. So that is not what was, it's just not. You either complied or you didn't. And this is and it's not in compliance.
Well, I'm here to try to do things the right way. I'm just looking for a little guidance because I'm not familiar with it. So I redraw the building.
What you need to do is what you need to do is
in the HTC before. Sorry, Don, didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, what you need to do is look at the original plans that were approved and look at what you built, and then come before us with an amended application to change the plans to fit what you actually built as opposed to what we approved.
Okay. All right, so I'll do that. I'll have them drawn and I'll come in and do an amendment to the
Yeah, you got to list all the materials, the dimensions.
Yeah, have you ever built anything in the HTC district before?
I have not dealt with you directly, no.
Okay. So there's a process and procedure that you can find online, I think, right, Linda, now?
Yes.
Online? That details what you need to submit.
Can I, this is Mike Hardesty. Can I make a brief comment?
Yes, please.
So this is my headache. It's my project. It's my money. And first of all, I want to apologize if anyone thinks that that I did anything intentional. I certainly did not. This came to light. I heard about this for the first time about, I think, 2 weeks ago. I hired a client of mine who needed work, who represented to me that he could do the job for a certain amount of money in a certain amount of time. And he did a great job going before your commission and getting approval, in that we got a very fast approval at the first meeting. But over the next 4 or 5 weeks, nothing happened, and the estimate went up dramatically. And eventually, he did hire Wayne Falco of GC Building Company, who I've known for 10 years, to do the framing, so I was more comfortable. And again, I don't want to take up too much time. I don't want to talk about things that aren't relevant. But it became clear to me when Christmas was approaching that the original builder had no subcontractors. And also, I thought he had built a lot of things around here, but he did not. So then I hired GC Building Company, represented tonight by Wayne Falco, to take over the project. And neither one of us ever received the actual final approved plans. I know that the previous builder, Stephen O'Rourke, met Wayne Falco in my driveway, and they went over the 24 by 28 two-story garage, and the garage was laid out, marked out on the plans. But at the end of the day, we want to do whatever we can to try and get approval. And again, I know you guys don't give advice, but I don't know if it makes sense to file a brand new application or try and do what was discussed about coming before you and pointing out exactly what's changed. I can tell you the materials, as far as I know, are exactly the same. The windows are the same. I believe the differences might be a slightly higher elevation and the moving of one window. And I'm not assuming, I mean, I appreciate that's a problem. I can tell you, I'm going to do whatever I can to try and solve the problem. And, you know, Wayne and I will look into trying to amend the application. And I'm hopeful that what's built, and it's not finished yet, is excellent construction. And in terms of being historic, it's of the highest quality, and it certainly resembles what was approved. But I do appreciate we need to get seek permission to build exactly what's there. So we'll do whatever we have to do.
So Wayne, you didn't have a set of plans?
No, I met him on site. He tried to send them electronically, and I'm not savvy, as you guys talked about earlier with that. So he met me on site. He had forgot a set of plans. We laid it out on the ground. And then I had like a snapshot of the elevation and being just a square box inside, open garage. I thought that was simple enough to build, built in a lot of them. So I followed the like screenshot for historic purposes, I thought to a T, outside of adding a window or two. Also, I believe the side door was addressed from a double to a single because the stairs wouldn't work. So I put a single door in versus a double. Knowing that we had two overhead doors right there, didn't feel it was necessary to have a double door right next to it.
I don't think the concern from, at least from me as a commission member, would be the changing out of the door. It sounded like the issues that were raised to us related to primarily the height and the sizing and scale of those exterior second floor windows, or those second floor windows, not exterior. So that's what raised people's eyebrows, or whoever decided to raise this as an issue.
Okay, so is the max height requirement 35 feet? Am I correct on that?
I believe what was approved was 2310 on the print.
I think 22.9, I believe it was.
Hang on, pull it up. It was, I think, this one.
2210.
So
2210 was the height that was approved.
So what is it now?
Seamus, do you have
I didn't have a, I mean, I would just have to be guessing when I went out there, you know. I couldn't tell you an exact number without a tape or actually getting up on the roof and measuring down of what the exact height was.
Well, if you got, is it 10 foot? Is it 10 foot in the garage?
No. I believe it's, I don't know the exact height. They're
Right, yeah,
pre-cut.
I don't think it makes any sense to speculate on that now. What you have to do is you have to have a set of plans prepared that show what you built. And it has to be
Okay.
fully dimensioned to show what the new height is, what the pitch of the roof is, where the windows are located, what their sizes are. And then we will have to look at that application and.
No, I'm
compare it-
happy to do that, but somebody stated that the height wasn't right. I wanted to know what they came up with for a height to determine that.
The belief or what was alleged was that it was taller than the building that was approved. That's all we know.
The reason why we said that was because when these were shown to us at the last meeting, if you, Peter, can you show the left side? It's in there somewhere. If you look at, just stop for a second. If you look at those windows that are there on the left side and the
Oh, yeah.
and then you go back to the photo, the mass of that, of two double hung windows on top of each other, screams larger. I mean, you probably could count the clapboards and make an actual accurate count if you wanted to, but I hate to say it, but you're not even close.
The windows are not even close.
Well,
Is that what he's talking about?
I don't think the windows are close, but the question is, how do you get the height that would be required to put those windows in relative to the windows on the plan without extending the roof line?
Lowering the ceiling height in the garage?
This is Mike Hardesty. It sounds to me that it's on me and my builder, Wayne, to present plans and point out exactly what's different, and then ask for approval with the way it is or the way we will reconstruct it.
I'd say probably the best way is if you brought back a set of plans which was showing what you have, and we could just apples to apples match it up with what was approved with that, and then the commission can take a look at it from that aspect.
Understood.
Just like an as-built's fine, just showing.
Right.
In other words, but Mike, see the dimensions here, 10 foot, 0 3/4, 22, 10 and 7/16. You should present a plan, elevations that show these same dimensions for what you built, so we can go.
Will do.
That's fair enough.
We will we'll figure out the exact procedure and what to call it, but we will get that filed as soon as possible. And obviously, in the meantime, I'm not using it, and we're not going to do any more construction.
Okay, fair enough.
And again, for what it's worth, I apologize that this is taking up your time. There was a lot of miscommunication, which I'll take some responsibility for, but I never even met the original designer architect. I still have never met him. And it's still unclear to me what agreement might have been made between Stephen O'Rourke and the designer. And I realize he may be upset. He was paid what I'm told is a fair amount, but I know that's not relevant to why we're here. But Wayne Falco and I will present in detail exactly what has been built, point out the specific changes, all of them, and then come back to you and hopefully make a new app or amend the application or make a new application and try and satisfy the commission.
But Mike, it does sound like you were a little out of it, which unfortunately is just, I wish he had just taken care of it from day one for you,
Understood, loud and clear. And I want to apologize that if anyone, nothing was done trying to skirt the regulations. It's the last thing I would ever do for a client or my own house, for sure. So we're going to do our best to make it right. And at the end of the day, what's the final product, I'm confident it's going to be a good addition to my house in West Mystic. So thanks to everyone. And thanks, Wayne.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right, I'm guessing this 860 number is just maybe someone was listening in. So we'll just move on with public communications. Peter, any?
I don't have anything, no.
All right, approval of the minutes from April 21, 2020. Anyone?
Move to approve.
I second. I'll do the call. Moriarty approves. Brady,
Yes, approved.
Goodman,
Yes.
Levinson,
Yes.
Janikopoulos.
Yes.
Thank you. Any old business? No? Okay.
But sorry, did you ever talk to the liquor store people about their sign?
Oh. Who was gonna do that? Was that? I have to go back to the minutes. Peter, were you gonna talk to them?
That's my bad if it was me.
I thought it was Linda, but I don't want to throw you under the bus, Linda.
Well, I was sitting here going, I don't want to throw my boss under the bus. Oh, it's both of us are bad. Eric had emailed me Spencer and Lynn's info, and then I forwarded that to Pete. And so it was in our radar and then fell out.
Well, if we ever physically saw each other in the meantime, that would be good.
You're exactly
kind of losing out on.
Thursday morning, we'll get it together. I'm going to put that back in the minutes just so that we do keep it in the radar.
Okay. New business? Any?
Just out of curiosity, did we want to ever get back on that rewrite project or talk about that anymore? Or
Yes, so I sent you guys possible, this was a while ago, regulations to see what you thought of those. Really, the process was we were going to come up with a couple models, give them to John Reiner. He was going to try to get a grant and have someone write them for us. I don't quite know if that's an option given our current state of affairs. So I guess I can ask John where that stands, if that's even a possibility, and then we can circle back.
Why don't we do that?
Okay.
Seems like a good long-term project, so we should just not forget about it.
Okay, I agree. Do we want to do election of officers, or do we want to table that till next meeting? We don't never like to rush into that.
What are we waiting for?
I don't know.
I don't think Mark's ever
Mark
gonna,
to show up, maybe.
I don't think Mark's showing up, so we might as well go
I
ahead.
feel like that's what we were waiting for, though. But yeah,
I kind of was. I figure he's going to show up at some point. So
But then
My
will
vote-
everybody else be there?
say that again.
Will everybody else be?
Right.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, my vote would be to go ahead.
Anybody else have a suggestion?
I mean,
I have a problem if we go ahead. We can
that's
just,
So do we have any new nominations, or do we want to keep things the way they are? Right now, I'm Chairwoman, Heather's vice, Todd, your secretary.
Sounds good to me.
All right, all in favor of those nominations?
aye.
I
Does someone want to make a motion?
Oh,
well,
I'm tired.
motion to
Stay in charge.
the same.
Existing officers.
Okay.
Moriarty, aye. Brady,
aye.
Goodman,
Aye.
Levinson,
Aye.
Janikopoulos.
Aye.
All right, officers have been elected. I think we got that done 3 months earlier than last year. All right, if there's nothing else, I'll move to adjourn.
Right.
All right, adjourn. Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
Aye.
Thank you.
Right.
Watch those darts.
Right.
We want to see your dog next time, Sarah.
Yeah, she's gone. All right, see y'all. Thanks.
Night.
Good night.
Right.